So next I'm on to fit in the wall cabinets. What I've done first of all is I've got my laser level out and I've just put it in line here, so it's just on the outside of this cupboard here. And then I've made myself some marks on the wall and then also a level line across the RSJ because it needs to sit right up against that RSJ. And then this one next to it is the boiler cover. This isn't fixed on or anything. It's literally just a plain carcass at the minute. I need to put this one on so I can measure that to match this one basically. They simply hook over, so you basically just got to measure out where the brackets need to go on the wall, which on ours was 24mm from the side and top of the carcass. So as I mentioned at the start, to find the position of the brackets to mount the carcasses to the wall, I have to measure 24mm from the vertical line and the horizontal line. And once I found the measurement, I'm just using a level to make sure that the bracket on the wall and the marks that I make for the bracket are level. And the worst thing I can do at this step is drill straight through a wire. So you can see me using the detector here just to make sure that there's nothing behind this wall. And now I can use an 8mm drill bit with some wall plugs and then finally fix the brackets into the wall. And after putting the bracket on the opposite side, you can see them here, just hooking the bracket up and over those hooks, and then you can make the adjustments afterwards. So this one's on, this one's kind of in place, so now I need to cut the end panel for in here, and then I'll be able to screw them both together and then it'll be solid. So as I mentioned at the start, I haven't got every single tool a kitchen fitter would have, but to do this I'm using a circular saw and I've bought an 80 tooth blade. This is the first time using it, so hopefully no chips or anything, but I think what I've seen online is people say to put the finished side down, cut that way leaving no chips, so that's what I'm going to try. And I'm just going to do a little test run on an off-cut piece. First I'm going to do it with the finished side up and then opposite so I can see what the difference is. Look at the chips on that. I'll try it upside down. Right, so upside down it hasn't chipped. Yeah, okay, so that's perfect. We've got the finished side down and I can kind of trust it now. So I've measured the length to be 92.4. So I think I'll just cut the length there. 92.4, so I'll do 3 measurements. And obviously I said I don't have a track saw, so I've just clamped this and measured the distance all the way along, so that will kind of act as a track for my circular saw. Any chips? Can you see? Yeah, baby. Right, so you can see this end panel's in now. I'm fixing them together using 30mm screws just to fix the end panel to the carcass, and now I'm using these slightly larger screws to go through all 3 panels so they all tie in as one. And then what I'm doing is I'm going through I'm driving the screw through, loosening it back up and then going back in, because sometimes you'll notice when you're screwing it in they'll kind of pull apart a bit. And this is what it's looking like with the doors on. And to fit these doors it's really simple. You can see me here just using a combination square, so I'll just push the bracket up tight with that to make sure that it's all straight and in line, and then I can screw it. And the best way to do this would be to use a self-centering drill bit, but I didn't have one of those, so I just had to make do. Now in terms of the other part of the hinges, they're really simple. They just screw straight into the pre-drilled holes, so you just have to measure where they line up and then screw them straight in. But before clipping them onto the door, I release this adjustment screw, and that just makes clipping it on a lot easier. And there's a cutout on these for them to hook over at the back, and then you just put pressure on the front and they should clip into place. Very nice. So next we're on to the handles. These were kind of tricky because the measurements were really random. It was like 12.75mm from each edge. So the trick with these is just measure 3-4 times, use masking tape obviously, and with this I just had to take my time just to make sure that there was a minimal blowout at the back. And yeah, you only really get one shot at this, so at this stage you don't want to be making any mistakes. So these are our handles, and we obviously got supplied the handles with the screws, but to be honest they literally went in a couple threads, so not the best to be fair. But yeah, it took a while fitting these handles. They obviously make a big difference once they're on. It just brings the whole kitchen together. And this is what our larder units are looking like. And the extractor is fitted as well. That's obviously unique to us. Yours will be different if you're having one. Right, so that's pretty much the kitchen complete. There's a few little things left to do. Obviously the trims at the top on all the top of the cupboards are, I still need to fit those, but essentially the kitchen's fitted now. It's in use, we're using it, we're really happy with it, we love the way it looks and everything. But I just want to run through a few things that have happened since the last video. So these units here, we've got the small unit here, extractor fan which has been fitted, and then there's the standard cupboard here. With this one I had to make quite a few modifications to fit it. So you can see here I've had to cut the original carcass just to fit this extractor fan in. That's obviously going to be unique to what you have. Every kitchen will probably be different. And then the switches for that are on a separate isolation switch down there. And over this side we've got the boiler cupboard. The same with this one. A lot of this kitchen had to be modified, or I think that's just how kitchens are fitted. You have to pretty much build it to your kitchen. All we basically get given in the boiler cupboard was the two outer pieces and the top piece. So I've had to make this piece for the bottom and the middle just to give it some support. And then it's also been fixed in to the wall at the top by a bit of wood, studded out to allow me to screw it into the wall. So yeah, that's in, and that covers the boiler quite nicely. And this one is just another standard cupboard here. And yeah, so as I said, there's still a couple of things I need to do, like the cornice that will go on the top, and also a little trim here that I've actually cut to size, but I just haven't had the chance to fit it yet. And I'll probably film that at a later date. Also on the larder side, we have fitted a single oven. And then this is sort of a combi microwave oven. And to be honest, we've got rid of our old microwave now, and this is just so much better. So you've got the microwave function, it works just exactly like a microwave would, but then you've also got the option of the oven as well. This side here, you can see that I've added a few things. So we've got a double socket at the back, and then another socket with the isolator for the oven. So we're using this sockets in here to power the air fryer, toaster and slow cooker. This is just handy to keep things off the countertop to obviously allow more space for cooking and whatnot. Underneath here we've got some drawers, and we're still kind of figuring out where everything goes, so it's a bit of a mess at the minute. But yeah, I hope in some way that these two videos, part 1 and part 2, can help if you are considering fitting a kitchen yourself. Obviously now that I've done it, it was a really big job to take on. I'm glad I've done it and I've learned a lot doing it. But yeah, definitely a skilled job and definitely not something to take lightly. And so yeah, that pretty much brings me to the end of the video. As I said, I hope it was helpful in some way if you're considering to do this yourself. Any questions, put them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.